This is a this week thing. This is literally like a this week, this month thing. I'm afraid a little bit. Oh, Derek, I thought you were smarter than that. You're buying a house above 6%. It's still a good time to buy. It's always a good time to buy. I hate that shit. Today, I'm going to rant. Because of the timeliness of this video, when we shot it, when the Federal Reserve met, what interest rates are doing. I had to make a little excerpt, send it to my video guy, put this in. The Federal Reserve, the big shots met yesterday. I had 3 people in my ear. One was saying, oh, doom and gloom. Rates are gonna go above 7% by the end of the week. One was saying, no, I'm a master's in economics. The adjustment was already built in and maybe even at a higher rate. And so we could even see a price reduction. And I had another one who was kind of saying both. The result was rates dropped today by about 0.25%. The national average on a 30-year conventional mortgage yesterday was in the mid to high 6s. My lender would be more specific. Today it dropped by like 0.25%. At least in the interim, rates went in a good direction. So this could influence the typical, realtor bias. We're always like, you should buy, you should always buy. 2%, 8%, 12%. My mom bought at 18%. Rates actually went down today, and it could be the right time, but it might not be. We'll see if buying a house in Hawaii or anywhere, or selling a house in Hawaii or anywhere, is right for you at this time. You know what, at the end, I'm gonna throw in a little excerpt for sellers as well, for local people in Hawaii who are considering selling. Today, I'm going to rant. A couple of things happened recently. A friend of mine, he said, hey, why don't you put more real estate advice and stuff on your Instagram and whatever? And I was like, do people really wanna see that? Like, yeah, and they wanna see it from you. I went on a rant on my Instagram, got a good response, and I'm gonna go on another rant right now. Here's the thing, my dirty little secret, I don't really mess with a lot of real estate agents. Stereotypes, the assumptions, and the certain qualities that people may not love, like I hate those things too. And for those reasons, we kind of keep our professional circle small. But here's the thing, I see too many real estate agents on Instagram, on my phone, on Facebook, whatever. It's still a good time to buy. It's always a good time to buy. And I hate that shit. When it was 2%, the store, you know what? I'm gonna share with you my Facebook post, the screenshot. We'll put it up on the screen and I'll read it. This is what I put on my Facebook and on my Instagram as well. There are 2 types, realtors in business and business people in real estate. Read on. Realtors trying to do business at 3% rates and at 2%. You have to buy at 4%. Rates are still good, buy, 5%. Well, I bought my house back in 2002 on 6%, on a 6% rate, so you should still buy, To give you some context, today, June 15th, 16th, something, it's Wednesday. The inflation reports came out on Friday, interest rates went up. And then on Monday, rates went up again. The Federal Reserve is meeting again today or tomorrow. Interest rates may go up again. So I have 3 trusted loan officers that I discussed this with. All very smart. One, my main guy, his name is Derek as well. He is a genius level person who is positioned to be CFO of a bank, understands macroeconomics, and he thinks these rates, it's already built in. We're north of 6% for the 30-year average. That's what it's gonna stay at. Another guy, he came from Wall Street. Another guy is just a former military guy, a really good lender as well. We all had conversations and they feel like, nah, things are gonna get worse on Thursday, which is tomorrow. I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know, pretend like I'm a greater authority than these people. Rates may or may not get even worse. They may or may not be closer to 7% by the end of this week. Who knows? We were literally at 2.25% 6-9 months ago or something. So huge shift. The Friday and Monday rate hikes were the greatest rate hikes in a 2 business day span since 1994. While not unprecedented, it's been a while since that precedent was set. 30 years. Is it still a good time to buy? Let me get back to my my Facebook rant here. Business people / investors in the real estate business as a realtor, and we made a whole video on this. We'll link it in the bio. No matter the rates, it just depends. Let's run the numbers and the exits and help you make the best decision for you. That's it. Whether rates are 2% or 12%, it might be the right time to buy, it might be the right time to sell, it may or may not. But right now, today, this week, all these agents are like, oh no, you should still always buy, you should still always buy. Maybe. A lot of people are coming from bias and they're not objective, willing to speak to the bias. I think it's a shitty time for some people to buy. I think that some people that were making offers last week for $1 million on a VA loan, with this rate hike, even if they're still approved, like their approval rate may have went below $1 million because the rates went up 1%. Even if they could still buy for $1 million, I may not be advising my client to offer $1 million on that house. You have to be very careful right now. Some other real estate professionals who I listen to and absorb their advice, they think there's gonna be blood on the street. If you look at the stock market earnings today, Everything's in the red. All of the real estate companies across the board. Compass laid off people and is contracting. Redfin's always been sort of a Robin Hood. It's never been a profitable model that I know of. Real estate companies, financial companies, the whole stock market is getting hammered. We are officially in a recession. We're officially in a bear market. We will continue to be probably for some time. Does that mean don't buy? Not necessarily, but it means don't be cavalier. If you follow someone on Instagram and Facebook, they've just been completely biased, not acknowledging the negative and just finding ways to say, well, in 1979, rates were 18%, so you should buy today. Let's go off on the positive a little bit more. Dave Ramsey, one of the most respected financial and real estate figureheads in the world, in the industry, he put out an Instagram post today. Dave used to be a real estate agent, but most real estate agents are not on his level of financial understanding. So let's see what Dave said.
Are going to go up every year for the next 5 years.
Home prices are going to go up every year for the next 5 years.
How do you know if you're ready to buy a house? Because if you're ready to buy a house, you need to buy now. Right?
If you're ready to buy a house, buy now. How do you know? And then he gets into how do you know?
How do you know if you're ready? You're out of debt. You have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and you have a good, strong down payment. 20% is preferable because you avoid PMI. If you're a first...
So he just gets into Dave Ramsey principles. Put as much down as possible, put it on a 15-year loan. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Dave on all of these things because here's the thing. If you put 20% down, everything does go to crap, and you have to walk away from that asset, you lost a large sum of money. If you can buy on the VA loan, now it's not designed for this sort of market manipulation, but if you buy on a VA loan, you put nothing into it, you pay yourself rent for the next 24, 36 months, and then the market goes to crap and you walk away from that, you're not out anything really. Maybe you're out the delta. So if owning that home was $5,000 a month and renting it would have been $4,500, that $500 a month delta and then any deferred expenses, you know, like CapEx expenses or whatnot, you're out that. For argument's sake, you're not out anything if you walk away from a zero down situation. Also on the 15-year loan thing, you can make more payments. There's other strategies, putting a line of credit in the first position. There's all these fancy strategies to pay off your house faster. The 15-year thing can be a little risky. Now, if you have the financials and the stability to do the 15-year thing and you just want to lock in that lower rate and commit to that payment, then by all means. He didn't say all of this, but you know, if your staying power is there, if you're gonna live in Hawaii, if you're gonna live in Nashville, Tennessee, where Dave's headquarters are, and you're gonna be there for 10 years, 15 years, and you find the right deal and you're positioned to buy this home, then buy it, don't rent. I agree with that. If you're military and you're gonna be here for 2 years, I wasn't telling you to buy even a year ago when rates were at 2.25% for a VA loan. And I don't work with specific people that do give that advice that you should always buy year and 18 months, 24 months on the island. Too risky, even more so right now. So if your staying power, if your motives, if your reasons for buying don't anchor you here, if you don't have the financials and you won't have the ongoing financials to anchor you here through a financial winter, then don't buy. What do I feel? Do I agree with Dave? I'm here ranting and talking stink about the industry bias that is everyone, you know, lenders, agents. You should always buy, you should always buy. 2%, 6%, 8%, you should always buy. Hawaii's never gonna go out of style. Well, there's some truth to that. I just don't like it when it's coming from the bias point. Should you buy right now? I'm in escrow. I'm in escrow buying a house. 2 to 3 weeks from now, we'll be closed. We're doing a double loan application. So I'm doing a 7-year ARM, which would land me at 4.2% for 7 years. And we also have an application for a conventional that has me above 6%. And I know some of you are like, oh, Derek, I thought you were smarter than that. You're buying a house above 6% in this market while the recession is starting. What I would tell my wife is scared money don't make money, but we've thought it out. And I'm not gonna get into our whole vetting process, but as a real estate professional, we take depreciation. We're getting an okay deal. We're not getting a screaming deal, because if we factor back in commissions, you know, whatever. But then our exits too. If I exit in Hawaii, I can sell the home myself. So I do have different motives, a different financial approach to buying this house. But nonetheless, I'm afraid a little bit, but we are buying a house on a resort here in Hawaii, ending of June into July 2022, high interest rates, higher than they were, because I don't think that 2008 is gonna happen again for me. Now, this is not advice to you to make your decision off of Derek's decision. The whole point in this video is for you to reach out to us, schedule a consultation, and let's go over your specific situation. If you're coming to Hawaii and you're like, man, Derek, I was gonna buy. I've been watching your videos for 6 months and I was just gonna call you, but now you're telling me not to buy? Maybe. I literally may, and I'll be proud if we do. If I do, if Mahe does. But we want to have that conversation because it just depends in the end. What Dave's getting at, what he's saying is to cut down this tree and create wood and create planks that make a house. The cost of that's only going up. The copper that's in between all your outlets to charge these guys, well, that copper has gone up and is going to continue to go up. This is called inflation, right? The inflation report came out and it was, I think we were like 8-point-something% inflation. How does the Federal Reserve, the government influence, how do they combat inflation? Raising interest rates. So when you raise interest rates, you're trying to like, put a lid on inflation. It's interesting because I've been in an industry for 2 years where the government has been our partner. They've been facilitating this hot market. We use government and Federal Reserve synonymously, right? So the rates and the conditions and the stimulus checks, et cetera, have been facilitating our success over a couple of years. Now, we're competing with the government. We're in a recession, we're in a bear market, rates are going up, and they're trying to do a healthy cleanse and put a cap on inflation. So if inflation's at 8%, they should technically probably be at 9, right? Well, we're not there yet. They could have just raised rates in one fell swoop. I don't think that the government, the Federal Reserve, if you have a tinfoil hat on watching this, that their partnership with China and Russia or whatever, I don't think their goal is to kill the economy. I don't think their goal is to have a worse recession than 2008. The wood to build the house, the copper, the carpet in the house, the fuel to get it from China to LA to here. Let's not talk about the Jones Act. All of that's going up, so the cost of housing is going to continue to go up because the cost to build that house is going to go up. Also, people are still repositioning themselves after COVID. People are still able to work virtual. People are still able to work off of Zoom and have their California job or whatever. And so we're not going to see a reduction in the influx of people that are coming to Hawaii. For my local people, I know that strikes a vein, and we can have that conversation in a different video. It's beautiful weather. I can see the ocean. I can see the mountains. This isn't going out of style. And so I don't think the land in which the house is built on here is going to go out of style. We still have a surplus demand. I have 5 listings right now. And of those 5 listings, the ones that are not on the west side have multiple offers, and we're still doing good. So how then can the housing market collapse? And how then can housing prices go down? That's the competing argument. That's what Dave Ramsey's saying, right? All of this fear and all of these headlines, house prices are still gonna go up. That's what Dave's saying. He's a smart guy. We should at least consider his advice. What the news is saying, what some very smart people are saying is we'll probably enter like a 18 to 24 month recession. I'll end on this note. Historically, stock market corrections, recessions, and bear markets are not necessarily tied to housing market corrections. We all have recency bias of thinking that 2008 is how things go. Stock market collapses, housing market collapses, and we're all waiting for things to go on sale. That happened once. Happened once where subprime mortgages were rated AAA and rolled into these products, and it was all too crazy for any normal person to figure out. And then the whole world economy was on the verge of collapse until bailouts. That happened once. That didn't happen in the .com bubble. That didn't happen. Hawaii had a Japanese bubble where people from Japan came in and bought and then sold. Point of the story is, for my partner agents out there in this industry, on this island, in this country, it's not always a good time to buy. Stop telling people, please, that it's always a good time to buy. It may be a good time to buy, but let's come from a position of expertise and counsel and nurture, and not how do we spin it so that 8% rates are a good time to buy and 2% rates and everything leads to me making money. It's not a way to practice. And for the buyers out there, quick version, you're gonna be here for a short amount of time, your financials aren't stable, you shouldn't have bought then, you shouldn't have bought now. I err a little more towards that. I'm a little more cautious. That's another thing. This is a this week thing. This is literally like a this week, this month thing. We need to see how things are cooling off. You can hold off 1 week for writing an offer and see how the market responds. Hold off 2 weeks. It's okay. We can test the water a little bit. I don't think we're gonna see prices scream in the next 2 weeks and you missed an opportunity. But if the perfect home and the perfect cul-de-sac and the perfect school district came up, and I'm gonna be here for a while and my financials are strong, I'm still buying. Like I said, I'm literally buying right now. I'm in escrow, closing in a few weeks. For sellers, sorry, I focused on the buyers because this channel is mostly buyers, but for my local people, my sellers, or my would-be buyers who are sellers on the mainland, let's talk about that. Should you sell right now? I think so. 10 months ago, the conversation went like this. Oh, hi, buyer's agent. Oh, you guys are considering canceling? You want a $10,000 credit? That's okay, because my sellers aren't in a rush. If we go back to the market, we'll sell it for more because the market's like this. That's not the case today. I'm not confident in that right now. So if you are considering selling, I'd consider like exiting very soon. If it's the right time for you to exit. If you're just trying to time the market, you know, you live in that house, and you're gonna sell it and rent your neighbor's house because you're a good market timer, I wouldn't do that. It's not timing the market. It's time in the market. But if you were like, hey, I've had this open job offer in Vegas for 9 months and I've just been waiting. They said if I don't take the job in the next few months, I'm not gonna get it, and I really want it. I'm like, let's make preparations this week. Call me today, let's talk today, tomorrow, let's look at the house, see what we're gonna do with the lawn, the staging, the decluttering, like let's do that immediately. But by all means, if you're a local auntie, local uncle, and you really wanna keep your house, but you're just afraid of the market, time in the market, not timing the market. You win the Monopoly game by getting one house and then getting more and getting more and then getting bigger ones. Only selling for very strategic reasons. So if you don't have a certain opportunity or a certain goal that is leading you to sell, I don't think I'd try to time the market. That was my rant. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it pono. Go to our website, fill out the contact form. We just developed this new questionnaire with a 10-question thing that helps us get to know you. It prompts me in this Slack channel, me, Mahe, the whole team. Where's one? William, you reached out to us about an hour and a half ago. If you're a buyer, go to our website down below, fill out the contact form. You can do that if you're a seller too, or if you're a seller, go to myhawaiihomevalue.com, and we look forward to chatting with you guys and keeping it real.